You know, it's amazing what you can learn from just one thing. How about a single newspaper? What could that possibly tell us about a nation of over 1.4 billion people? Well, we're about to find out. We've got our hands on a paper from the very near future, and we're going to see what story it tells about a country that is absolutely on the move.
So, think of this newspaper as our window, our time capsule really, into India in 2026. Inside these pages, we're going to find the threads of huge infrastructure projects, some really tough economic choices, and, well, the vision of the future that's being sold to its citizens. So, let's dive in and start unpacking this thing.
All right, first up, let's look at the big picture. This is what I call the National Balancing Act, that constant tug-of-war between boosting the economy and taking care of your people. This is where you can really see what a government's true priorities are.
I mean, pretty much every government on Earth faces this exact dilemma, right? Do you focus on revenue to build big things, or do you give some of that back to ease the pressure on households? Well, in March 2026, it looks like India's government made a very clear and very expensive choice.
And boom, here's our answer right in this headline. Center will forfeit 7,000 crore rupees in revenue on excise duty cut. So what they're doing is cutting the excise duty on fuel. That's basically a tax on it. And it's a move that's designed to directly lower costs for millions of people and businesses.
Let's just pause on that number for a second. 7,000 crore rupees. To put that into perspective for you, that's nearly $1 billion US. So yeah, this is not a small gesture. This is a massive financial decision that's going to have some very real consequences for the national budget.
And check this out. This is what makes governing so complex. On the exact same page as that huge tax cut, you got this full-page government ad for the Melghat Tiger Reserve. It's a huge commitment to the environment. So in one single day, you've got economic relief, fiscal responsibility, and ecological preservation all fighting for attention and for money.
Okay, now let's zoom in a bit. We're going from the national level right into the heart of one of the world's biggest cities. A megacity like Delhi has its own kind of pressure, and the solutions it needs, well, they have to be monumental.
And this is the big question that's all over the front page. The answer really tells a story about explosive growth, about congestion, and about this race to build for the future before today's problems bring everything to a grinding halt.
So the problem is actually pretty simple. The main airport, Indira Gandhi International, or IGI, it's just full. The article literally says it's running out of primetime slots for airlines. So what's the solution? You build a brand new one from the ground up, the Noida International Airport. It's designed to handle all that overflow and, more importantly, plan for decades of growth to come.
And here it is. The front page is celebrating the opening of this massive new piece of infrastructure. It's basically a giant sign saying that the region is ready for business on an even bigger, more global scale.
So on day one, the new Noida airport can handle 12 million passengers a year. Now, that's a lot, for sure, but it's still just a fraction of what IGI handles right now. But here's the thing. This is only the beginning.
The timeline laid out here is just incredible. This isn't a quick fix, it's a multi-decade plan. They're starting with 12 million passengers. By 2032, that more than doubles to 30 million. By 2037, 50 million. And then, after 2040, the final phase will get it up to 70 million passengers a year, matching IGI's current capacity. This is what long-term strategic national planning looks like in the real world.
But, and there's always a but, right? You can build the most amazing, high-tech airport in the world, but if people can't actually get to it, what's the point? And this brings us to a really crucial problem that's highlighted in the very same article.
This quote, pulled from an article right below the main story, is, well, it's pretty stark. It just says, no viable public transport. Can you believe that? At its grand opening, the main way to get to this futuristic hub is by road. It just perfectly highlights that classic challenge, connecting the big new project to everything that's already there.
So for now, the focus is clearly on cars. The paper goes into detail about this brand new interchange that links the airport to major expressways. And yeah, it's a huge engineering achievement, but it also tells you that at least for now, the plan for getting people there is all about private cars and taxis, not mass transit.
Okay, so we've seen the national policy in these massive public projects, but the paper reveals another huge piece of the puzzle, the private dreams that are being built and sold in the shadow of all this public investment.
See, an airport like this isn't just a place to catch a flight. It's an economic engine. It creates what developers love to call a zone of appreciation. And you better believe they are ready to cash in, selling not just houses but entire lifestyles.
And here are those lifestyles splashed across the paper in full-page ads. On one side, you've got the world's #1 spiritual economic zone near Vrindavan, which promises this perfect blend of tranquility and a great investment. And on the other, you've got Serenity Hills in Gurugram offering a stunning water promenade and a life surrounded by nature.
Just listen to the language they're using here. It's all about escape, it's about exclusivity, and it's about appreciation. That's a key word. They aren't just selling you square footage. They're selling you a blueprint for the perfect life. And it just so happens to be located where all this new public infrastructure is making the land more valuable.
And this is where it all comes together. The massive public spending on things like airports and highways is directly fueling the creation of incredible private wealth. We're talking villas listed for over 1.2 crore and apartments for nearly 3 crore. It really shows you this powerful economic engine where public projects lay the foundation for private fortunes to be built. And that really brings us to our final question. This single newspaper from a single day shows us a nation that is truly in motion. It's making tough choices for its people, it's building these colossal projects for the future, and in the process, it's creating a landscape where brand new, exclusive dreams are being marketed and sold. It's just a snapshot of a country juggling the needs of the many with the aspirations of a few, all on one Saturday in March 2026.